Good morning, my dear students. How are you? I hope you are well and in a good health. Today, our lecture about a question tag. It is very simple lecture and short. So let's start our lecture and please pay attention with me. Question tag means السؤال الذيلي. Okay. A question tag is a short question at the end of a statement. So, question tag is a question and it is short. We write this question at the end of a statement. Statement means sentence. Statement means sentence. So, we write this question tag at the end of a statement or at the end of a sentence. Okay, when do we use this question tag? Is used when asking for agreement or confirmation. So we use this question for agreement or confirmation. للتأكيد إحنا بنسأل هذا السؤال للتأكيد. As you see here, we have a statement. You are a student, and it is a positive statement. What do you mean by a positive statement? It means that we don't have negation in this statement. We don't have not negation. You are a student, aren't you? It is a question tag, and we have negation here in this question tag. We have not. Aren't you? Okay, so when we have a positive statement, the question tag has to be negative. Again, if we have a positive statement, the question tag has to be negative. You are a student, aren't you? Aren't you? In this part, you will notice that the subject you comes after the auxiliary aren't. The subject, the pronoun you, comes after the auxiliary aren't. You are. The second part, aren't you? You are in the first part. In the second part, aren't you? You are a student, aren't you? We ask this question for confirmation or for agreement. You are a student. أنت طالب. Aren't you? أليس كذلك? You are a student, aren't you? أليس كذلك? Let's go to the second slide with more examples. Now we have another example here, as you see. Mary is not a teacher, is she? The statement here, Mary is not a teacher, is negative because we have negation or not. Mary is not a teacher, we have negation. So the statement is negative. Is she? It is the question tag. Is she? The question tag. The question tag here is positive. Is she? We don't have negation and we don't have not. Okay, so when we have a negative statement, the question tag has to be positive. Again, when we have a negative statement, the question tag has to be positive. Mary is not a teacher, is she? Mary مش معلمة. Is she? أليس كذلك? This question tag is she for confirmation, for agreement. We ask this question for agreement, for confirmation, للتأكيد. And as you notice here that the subject pronoun she comes after the auxiliary is in the question tag. The subject, the pronoun she, comes after the auxiliary is. Okay, why do we put she here in the question tag? Why? Yes, because it refers to Mary. She, the pronoun she, refers to Mary. Mary is not, is she, is not becomes is in the question tag. Is not, the negative, becomes is, positive. Okay, Mary is not a teacher. Is she? Let's go to the third slide with more examples about this idea. In this slide, as you see, we have a table, and in the first part of the table we have positive statements, and the second part of the table we have negative tag questions. And we said that positive statements means statements that don't have negation. And we said that if we have positive statements, the question tags have to be negative. And if we have negative statements, the question tags have to be positive. Let's start with the first statement. He is happy. It is positive. We don't have negation here. The question tag is not he. He is happy. Is not he. Is becomes is not. Because the statement is positive, the question tag has to be negative. Okay, if it is he is not happy, the question tag will be is he. Again, if the statement he is not happy, the question tag will be is he. He is not happy. Is he? But here we have positive statement. He is happy. The question tag is not he. The subject pronoun he in the question tag comes after the auxiliary is not. The second statement, she was happy. She was happy. Was not she. Wasn't she. She was happy. Wasn't she? Okay, if it is negative, this statement, she was not happy, the question tag will be was she. She was not happy. Was she? But here this statement is positive. She was happy. Wasn't she? Okay. They are happy. Aren't they? They are happy, aren't they? The auxiliary are becomes aren't in the question tag. And after the auxiliary aren't, we put the subject, they. They are happy, aren't they? We were happy. Weren't we? We were happy. Weren't we? If this statement is we weren't happy, the question tag will be were we? We weren't happy. Were we? But here the statement is positive. We were happy. The question tag weren't we? Okay. Is not, wasn't, aren't, weren't. These are from the family verb to be. We have a family and this family is called verb to be, أفعال الكينونة. And we have is not, wasn't, aren't, weren't. هدول negation. البوزيتيف منهم is, was, are, were. Okay. You speak English, don't you? You speak English. It is in present simple. And we know that if we want to negate a sentence in a present simple, we have to use don't or doesn't. Here the subject is you. And if the subject is you, we have to use don't because it is not singular. If the subject is singular, we have to use doesn't. Do you remember that? In a present simple, how can we negate? If the subject is singular, like she, he, it, we have to use doesn't. But here, the subject is plural. And when the subject is plural, like you, I, they, we have to use don't. You speak English, don't you? And here the verb speak without us because the subject here is you, is plural. Okay. He speaks English, doesn't he? He speaks. It is in a present simple tense. And the subject here is singular, he. He speaks English. If we want to negate this sentence, he speaks English, we will say that he doesn't speak English. Is it true? Yes. If we want to negate this sentence, he speaks English, we will say he doesn't speak English. But here, in the question tag, he speaks English, speaks. The verb speak with us because the subject is singular. He speaks English. Doesn't he? Doesn't he? Okay. They spoke English. Spoke. It is verb 2. So, we are in the past simple tense. They spoke English. This statement is in simple past. They spoke English. And we know that if we want to negate the sentence in simple past, we have to use did not. They spoke English. If we want to negate they spoke English, we will say they did not speak English. لأنه إحنا بنعرف إنه بعد do does did، والنفي منهم don't و doesn't و didn't نستخدم الverb بيكون بعديهم الحالة الأولى verb 1 infinitive form مجرد. They spoke English. Did not they? And we know that do والنفي منها don't و does والنفي منها doesn't و did والنفي منها didn't. These are from a family that is called verb to do. من عيلة اسمها verb to do. Okay, let's continue. We have studied all week. We have studied all week. This sentence in present perfect. We have studied all week. Okay, why do we have here? Have. We have. We don't say we has because the subject is plural. If we talk about we or they or you, we have to use have, not has. And after has or have, in present perfect, the verb is verb 3. We have to use verb 3 after have and has. In present perfect, we have studied all week. Haven't we? Haven't we? She has studied all week. Hasn't she? And this sentence again is in present perfect. المضارع التام. She has. We have has here because she is singular. She has studied, verb 3. She has studied all week. Hasn't she? Hasn't she? They had studied all week. Hadn't they? They had studied all week. This sentence in past perfect. Past perfect. الماضي التام. They had studied. They had studied. احنا بنعرف انه بالماضي التام كل البروناونز تاخد had والverb بيكون verb 3. They had studied all week. Hadn't they? Hadn't they? And we know that have والماضي منها haven't وhas والماضي منها hasn't والhad والماضي منها hadn't. These are members from the family verb to have. هم أعضاء من العيلة اللي اسمها verb to have. Again, okay, let's continue. I will pass the exam. I will pass the exam. أنا رح أجتاز الاختبار. Won't I? Won't I? will حولتها النيجيشن منها won't اللي هي will مع not تنقرأ won't. Won't I? Won't I? I will pass the exam. واحنا بنعرف انه بعد المودلز الفيرب بيكون verb 1 in infinitive form مجرد بدون اي اضافات. I will pass the exam. Won't I? She would pass the exam. She would pass the exam. Wouldn't she? احنا حكينا انه will الماضي منها would. She would pass the exam. Wouldn't she? He can pass the exam. Cannot he? He can pass the exam. Cannot he? We would pass the exam. we could pass the exam. couldn't we. انتوا شايفين اصلا كتير سهل انه الجملة بتكون بالبوزيتيف، بكتب اللي question tag بالنيجاتيف، بشوف شو اللي عندي. اذا عندي الاوكسيلياري is او are او was او were بالquestion tag بحطها، اذا كانت طبعا هي ايش بالبوزيتيف بحطها نيجاتيف بالquestion tag، بحط negation. is بتصير isn't، was بتصير wasn't، are aren't، were weren't. اذا كانت الجملة عندي بالpresent simple بدي اشوف بدي احط don't او doesn't، صح؟ اذا كانت طبعا بالبوزيتيف عندي جملة بالpresent simple وهي positive الquestion tag اكيد رح اكتب بالنيجاتيف، بدي احط نفي، بدي احط يا don't يا doesn't. اذا الجملة كانت عندي بالباست simple عندي verb to بالstatement وعندي اياها positive، شو بدي اكتب الquestion tag؟ didn't، انه النفي الباست simple didn't. اذا كان عندي present perfect بدي انفي يا haven't يا hasn't حسب الجملة اللي عندي. اذا كانت عندي بالباست perfect الجملة عندي had فيها، شو بدي اكتب الquestion tag؟ hadn't. وبعد كل الاوكسيلياري حطيتهم انا بالنفي بالquestion tag بدي احط شو؟ السبجكت. كتير سهلة. وبعدين بحط الquestion mark. Don't forget to put the question mark. It is important to put the question mark at the end of the question tag. اوعك تنسى تحط علامة الاستفهام، كتير مهمة. نكمل. We could pass the exam, couldn't we? You must pass the exam, mustn't you? I should pass the exam, shouldn't I? will would can could must should والنفي منهم won't wouldn't cannot couldn't mustn't must not shouldn't. هدول كلهم ايش؟ members. These are members from a family that is called models. هدول بنسميهم المودلز. و after the models we have to put verb 1. بعد المودلز لازم يكون عندي الفيرب بالتصريف الأول verb 1. كتير سهل هاي الرول كتير. بشوف أنا شو عندي الستيتمنت بالبوزيتيف ولا بالنيجاتيف. إذا كانت الستيتمنت بالبوزيتيف بدي أحط الquestion tag بالنيجاتيف، بدي أحط نفي. إذا كانت عندي الستيتمنت بالنيجاتيف بدي أحط الquestion tag positive بدون نفي. Okay, we have another part from this rule because we don't finish this rule. That's it for today, my dear students. Rewatch this video again to understand the rule well, and wait me in another video to continue this rule. Goodbye.